He is the founder and director at RFH since 2011 of September. He is the founder of RFH Healthcare Limited. I'm hoping you will explain the difference from 2018 of January to date. He is the founder of Red Leaf. I know again that may come up sometime in the course of the conversation from January 2021 to date. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put up our hands together to welcome Dr. Maxwell.
Good evening, everyone. I think the last time I was in this hall was probably 12 years ago. It looked bigger than it is today. I think I used to sit somewhere there, where the lady with the spectacles. I have a lot of memories for this room. I think there's one day a girl left me, and I almost quit medical school, because I could not imagine. I could sit there, and when she's not in class, I would think my friend who was hitting on her, they were somewhere doing something. And so my paranoia would let me walk out of the class to go check on her room, if they are in that room. And she said, I have to give a public apology, and I came and stood in front of this class to say sorry to her. Unfortunately, we parted ways after that. But that is life. As you've been told, my name is Dr. Maxwell Okoth. I'm an ordinary person like you. I'm a doctor by training, though I don't see patients anymore. But when you're sick, I can still prescribe something. I still know how to suture, and I still know how to hold my scalpel when there's a need to do so. But life made me realize that I cannot do everything. You have to choose one thing at a time. I was called here for reasons I do not understand. And so I want to understand why I was called here. But let's see how this goes. I don't know what to say, unless you tell me what you want me to tell you. Is it a better way to start the conversation? Is it? Somebody said that he runs, what's the name of your company? Mastermind. Big name it is, right? Because when you hear that, you think of Mastermind tobacco. I started my first business as a medical student in my second year. And me and 10 of my friends, most of them were from Starehe. Stanley Kamau, Saibulu, and we registered. So Saibulu was a Maasai. And I asked him, what's the Maasai name for 10? Is there a Maasai in this room? Is there a Maasai in this room? So the Maasai name for 10 is called Tomon. So we said it's going to be called Tomon Limited. So we were giving 1,000 shillings every month. And so we said it's 10,000 a month. Looked like a hell lot of money, right? Then we became greedy and we wanted more. So all the 10 boys brought their girlfriends. So we were now 20. So we said it's called Tomon 10, Kumi Kumi, you know. Tomon 10 Limited. That was the first company that we started. So we were banking 20,000 every month. And I, being the business lead and business development person, I had to come up with an idea of what to do. So the first thing we did when we were in second year, we realized first years are coming and they need textbooks, right? And medical textbooks are very expensive. So I had to do the research of where to get textbooks at an affordable price. And in my research, I landed at a place called Ngara. How many of you know Ngara? And so there were second-hand books in Ngara. Where they came from, I don't know. But they were being sold in Ngara, one way or another. So whether we sold them or not, they were still going to be sold, right? And so I would carry a sack to Ngara and carry textbooks from Ngara to my room, and they were very heavy. You can imagine 10 lasts and 10 ganongs in your back. You understand? And so from there, we started selling textbooks. Then we realized they'll want lab coats, and so I went to Profogengo and asked him, we want to sell lab coats this year. What are the specifications you're looking for? And he said, most of these lab coats are tall, and the sleeves are very long, and then the formalin is making them look very funny, right? So we need to have a rubber band and make them tight. I went to Ngara, and there's a place where we have all these tailors in a very big stall. So I make an order of 200 lab coats. So we put rubber bands here. They came out looking very funny. I would not wear those lab coats. But I had to sell them. And so we sold the lab coats. And then by the time we were settling down, I still had some in my room which were not sold. But the bottom line is we made a clean 47,000 shillings profit from that business in 2 days. And as life goes by, where there's money comes politics. And so the Tomon 10 group members started politicking. And I resigned from the company that I started. I pegged my resignation, and I left. Without knowing what to do, it was very sad, but I said, I will not operate where there's no trust, number one. If there's an accountability issue, I would give accountability and say what did and what did. After all, we were profitable. Why are you asking questions? But that's life. You have to be questioned. So I resigned from my company and left. The company still exists today. Nothing has ever moved, and no business has ever been done. There's a time I was hoping to buy it back. I hope I buy it back one day. What I'm trying to tell you is some of these dreams start from way back then, and I was just going back to what Mastermind does. So from there, I went back to my room, lonely, deflated, sad, not knowing what to do. Facebook was picking up very fast, and there was YouTube and everything else, and I started Googling how to make websites, because websites were the in thing. One of our classmates, Kilonzo, used to design websites and would make a lot of money. He bought a car when he was my classmate, and he could drive to school, and I wanted to be like him. So I started Googling how to make websites. And I landed on a CMS, content management. I don't know whether it's system or whatever. And so there was this thing called Joomla. So I started designing websites on a Joomla platform. And one of the designs I did, I actually designed for one of my uncles who paid me 20,000 for his company website. That's a lot of money. And so on Fridays, we'd go to Kimathi Street, because that was a red light district at that time. So we had tacos and Taco Bell and Ibiza and all those things. And of course, release your stress and have a good time, because you have money that your parent doesn't know you have, and you've worked hard for it, right? So you blow it as much as you can. Have your corduroy that you bought from Gikomba, faded jeans, sharpshooters from Isili. You enter that club like you're a boss, you know. And so one of these websites I designed sat on that desktop for the longest time, and I asked myself, what can I do with this website? And so we started an online shop called mkoba.co.ke. And I was telling her that we were amongst the pioneer online e-commerce shops in this country. Mkoba did so well that I was literally one of the best brokers in this country. I knew Kirinyaga Road and Luthuli like the back of my hands. I was that guy, if you need something, I knew a guy. If you want memory cards, flash disks, 2.1 creative speakers. You want to assemble your computer. You want a TV card. I would sort you at the best price possible. So Mkoba became a very good thing. I would start, so we had designer colognes. I doubt whether they were designer, to be honest. I think they were fake. I think only one Indian figured out they were fake, and he made a lot of noise for me. I think he had born a Givenchy or something. I had to give a return policy. I returned to him. He returned, and I gave him his money. The others were very happy that they're getting designers at a third the price of a designer cologne. I felt good. So I would make money. So I ran Mkoba, I think, straight up KTN. For those who know, I don't know whether you were there at that time. Came and interviewed me in my campus room and said, the boy who starts his business from college room. Money Matters on Business came and interviewed us. It was growing. The competitor at that point was called Dillfish. Dillfish, I think they sold out to I don't know who, and it became the Jumia that you see today. So had I continued with my Mkoba, probably I would be the biggest competitor to Jumia. But I had to fall short at some point. Because in my 4th year, I had to go for my electives in Kisumu, and there was no one to live here to run that thing. I was the business. The business was me, and I was everything. So that's the story of my university. I remember there was a Valentine session. That Valentine was coming, and then I realized the essence of a businessman is to solve problems. You identify problems and find solutions to them. So I realized most men were shy to carry flowers and be seen carrying flowers, right? And most were shy to deliver the flower. And so what I did in my strolls, because I lived in main campus until my 5th year, I said I'm not going to live here for my own personal reasons. You know, so some of us prefer our privacy. So I lived in Hall 10, and so in my strolls towards Arboretum, I met this guy who was selling flowers at the corner there. There's a Shell currently there. I told him, I have this big order for flowers coming up on Valentine's. Our class has 300 students, and they might most likely buy flowers. But I don't have the capital. So trust me, I'll show you where my room is. And University of Nairobi students were never trusted those days. Because I remember there were instances we would take a cab from town and tell them we are going to Lower State House Road. And they believe you, then once you jump that fence, you don't pay. That's what university students used to do, right? I don't know whether that still happens. I'm not encouraging anyone to do that, so don't quote me. So he gave me flowers. And so I went to class and told them, guys, I'm that guy. So I had this suit that I'd bought from Isili, nice, black, with white and a tie. Slim tie, very decent. So if you have an order, you make the order, I deliver for you. I knew all rooms in Hall 12, Hall 4. I don't know whether there are still ladies' hostels anymore, box. So I delivered flowers, and I made my cash and moved on. So I solved a solution to the shy boys. And I made people get to know each other, and I matchmaked people. So that's me. That's what I've always done. I don't know if I've answered your questions. That's Maxwell. Right? Med school was med school for me. Being one of the top students from my primary to high school, then you come to med school and meet brighter people than you. And some of us were not we were not good in theory, right? I was good in chemistry, physics, mathematics, accounting, figures, concepts. Then you come and give me, it's called Ganong. Jesus Christ, I hated the sight of that book and all the formulas that were there, and the acetylcholine, and all those things, and synapses, and some people in discussion groups would make it sound so simple, and you're wondering, how are these people understanding this thing that I cannot understand? But we needed to get 50% plus 1 in order to survive. Luckily, God was on my side. I managed to sail through with 51% and above slightly for 5 years without a supplementary or a receipt. I thank God for that, because I think it would have been very devastating if you were never used to failure in your life, right? And a lot of my friends who got supplementaries never picked themselves up, because you're used to winning, right? But life tells you sometimes you can fall down. You need to dust yourself and pick yourself up. So I survived, graduated in 2010. For the first time in the history of doctors being posted, we were the first people not to be posted on time. We had a 4 months delay in posting. I think today is worse. So we were posted in April. We actually literally had to picket for our posting orders to be released. I got my small bed sitter in Kiambu town, because I'd balloted. We used to ballot for internship centers, and I balloted for Kiambu, and that's why I started my internship. I will leave the rest of the stories for the questions so that I don't talk things that don't make sense. I'm normal like any of you. I'm just any other person trying to find something to do in life. And the little that I'm doing, trying to make it better for the future of my children and my family. I've made mistakes. Some of them are very grave and bad, I'm not proud of. Just to tell you that we are all human beings and no one is perfect. That said and done, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've served my purpose for coming here today. Thank you and have a good evening. Is that okay? Right? You don't seem to be happy. Is there anything else I haven't said? Right? Thanks. Asanteni sana. Hi.
Thanks, Doc. Let's another round of applause. Thank you, Doc.